Or, on a quiet, wealthy street called Orchid Crescent in Lekki, Lagos, lived a man named Ebenezer Okoro. But don't let the peaceful name fool you. Ebenezer wasn't just a bad neighbor. He was the undisputed king of petty malice, a master of calculated cruelty. His target? Mr. Adebayo, a retired professor, a kind soul known for his quiet integrity. Ebenezer seemed to despise the very sight of the old man's contentment, and he made it his personal mission to destroy it. Piece by miserable piece. Mr. Adebayo's pride and joy was his small, perfect gardener sanctuary of rare orchids and fragrant jasmine. Naturally, this peaceful space became Ebenezer's battlefield. Every Monday morning, like clockwork, at precisely 6 a.m., Ebenezer would fire up his ancient, deafeningly loud lawnmower. He'd position it right outside Mr. Adebayo's bedroom window. Knowing the professor suffered from a health condition that required peaceful mornings, it was a weekly ritual of torment. But it didn't stop there. On Tuesdays, he'd escalate. Spill handfuls of corrosive rock salt onto the edges of Mr. Adebayo's pristine flower beds, a silent poison for the delicate roots. The whole neighborhood watched this unfold. They felt pity for Mr. Adebayo and a deep-seated fear of Ebenezer. Okoro owned a massive corner plot, giving him a sort of feudal power over the street. He was famous for his vicious lawsuits. He once sued a teenager whose frisbee merely grazed his expensive fence. So everyone stayed silent. No one dared to intervene. Through it all, Mr. Adebayo endured with a quiet, heartbreaking dignity. He never fought back, never even raised his voice. He just retreated further into his home, his books, and his dwindling energy. His once vibrant spirit was visibly fading with each passing season of torment. When their paths crossed, he would offer Ebenezer a slight, weary, not a polite gesture that bizarrely only seemed to fuel Ebenezer's hatred even more. The air on Orchid Crescent was thick with tension, all because of one wicked, wealthy man. One sweltering afternoon, Mr. Adebayo's daughter, Amara, a sharp and successful lawyer from Abuja, arrived for a surprise visit. She hadn't seen her father in months, and the man who greeted her at the door was a ghost of his former self. His shoulders were slumped, the light in his eyes was gone, and his beloved garden was a mess of brown patches and wilting flowers. When she asked what was wrong, Mr. Adebayo just shook his head, trying to downplay the years of torment. But Amara saw the truth in the wilting jasmine and the sadness etched on her father's face. She started asking questions around the neighborhood. At first, people were hesitant, afraid of Ebenezer. But Amara's calm persistence and legal background gave them courage. One neighbor quietly mentioned the 6 a.m. lawnmower. Another described the salt attacks. Piece by piece, she assembled the ugly puzzle of Ebenezer Okoro's cruelty. The story of the teenager and the frisbee lawsuit confirmed her suspicions. This man thrived on intimidation. But Amara wasn't a scared teenager. A fire ignited within her. Theirs wasn't just about a garden anymore. It was about her father's spirit. Amara didn't confront Ebenezer. She knew that would be playing his game. Instead, she went to her father's shed and pulled out his old gardening tools. That weekend, she began to work. She didn't just repair the damage. She started a complete transformation. She tilled the soil, brought in nutrient-rich compost, and planted new, vibrant flowers that were more resilient. She wasn't just reviving a garden. She was sending a message. Ebenezer watched her from his window, a smirk on his face, assuming this was just another temporary effort he could easily crush. He had no idea who he was dealing with. The following Monday, at 6 a.m., the roar of Ebenezer's lawnmower split the morning silence. But this time, something was different. Amara was already awake, sitting on the porch with a steaming cup of tea and a professional-grade decibel meter. she calmly recorded the noise level, a small, knowing smile on her face. On Tuesday, when Ebenezer did his salt walk, Amara was there again. This time with a high-definition camera, documenting every single granule he accidentally spilled. The next day, a polite, immaculately dressed courier delivered a package to Ebenezer's doorstep. Inside was not a lawsuit, but a thick, beautifully bound book. It was a custom-made photo album titled A Gardener's Guide to Neighborly Etiquette, Orchid Crescent edition. Few pages contained gorgeous, professionally shot photos of Mr. Adebayo's garden in its former glory. The following pages were a different story. They included the decibel readings from the lawnmower, clearly violating local noise ordinances. There were crystal-clear, time-stamped photos of Ebenezer salting the flower bed. The final page was a simple, elegantly printed note. It didn't threaten legal action. It simply stated, property damage and harassment carries significant penalties. However, we believe in second chances. Let's help Orchid Crescent bloom again. Below it were the signatures of Amara Adebayo, ESQ, and nearly every other resident on the street. It was a masterpiece of silent, unified defiance. Billy had been cornered. Not with aggression, but with undeniable evidence and the collective will of the community he had terrorized for so long. For the first time, Ebenezer Okoro was speechless. The king of petty malice had finally been checkmated. Thanks so much for watching. What do you think of Amara's strategy? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next one.